I told you a couple of days ago that I was enjoying watching ads on television, dissecting them, learning from them for our business. And I want to share 4 lessons we learned when we started to advertise on Facebook ourselves. Now, I admit that we left the advertising part of our business rest until all the other stuff was ready, which, yeah, it's not the most clever thing to do. But we worked on our offering first for several months, I think nearly a year, learning how to extract things out of our heads, put it into frameworks so we can share them, learning how to present our content, finding out about platforms, funnels, diving deep into ClickFunnels, which by the way is so much fun. And then at the beginning of this year, we had everything ready and we had to start driving the traffic to our offering. Yeah, you heard me. We had to start. Not very clever indeed. So why didn't we start earlier? Well, we tried a bit, not enough. We tried driving traffic to our Facebook pages, our blogs, our offerings, but we didn't have a plan. And we didn't have the time because our focus was on our offering and we didn't want to scatter our attention too much. But we did realize the traffic was very important. I guess we were just not ready for it. So in the beginning of January, we had to start learning everything about advertising and sales. And the first platform we tackled was Facebook. We started to like the process that we were learning, and that seems to happen a lot when we dive into something new. So we created some ads as a test on Facebook, and they actually converted. And we got some names on our list, and with each name we were so excited, especially with the first one. Hilde texted me late in the evening that our first person downloaded our free gift, and we immediately got on a Zoom call together. We were so excited, nearly jumped up and down in our chairs, and we were so loud, cheering and laughing and partying and dreaming. With this first person, we felt like the ban was broken and we were waiting for the flood to hit us. And I'll tell you a secret. We have a couple of Excel sheets with calculations on everything that you can think of. And whenever we have a result, as tiny as it might be, we plug it into one of these sheets and we extrapolate the results until we're happy with the amount of money that will come in. But I remember some months ago when we first started doing this, the results seemed they just seemed disappointing. We were feeling really down. We thought our business could survive and even thrive, but the numbers we saw they were just telling us otherwise. And we thought, like, how on earth can anybody survive or any business survive with these numbers? And then we noticed that we made a little mistake in the formula, and we changed it, and suddenly our whole mood shifted and things looked bright again. Anyways, I went into a rabbit hole there. So returning to our ads, it was more fun than I had thought it would be. And actually, it's not much different to creating content, because ads are composed of stories, hooks, and a call to action. And it's just another way of looking at your product and why it would be appealing to someone else. And a couple of months ago, I followed a creative challenge with Michelle Lloyd from United Artspace on how to make art your living. And something she said resonated with me. Something we could use in our ads. She told us that whenever you paint something or create any other type of art, you have to tell the story about it. Even when you would just simply paint flowers or something that people can see what it is. When you tell the story about it, the value rises. When you just show the painting and let people make up their own story about it, it doesn't resonate with them as much. Or they might not understand what you were painting. And the same goes for our offerings and courses and webinars and workshops and ads, I believe. When we tell the story about why we created them or how, people will bond with them easier because they might recognize themselves in the story or might sympathize with it. So a couple of days ago, we created an ad for a free product on healthy food, one of our side projects. And yeah, we were pretty proud of the ads. Even the audience, I think we just nailed it. So we were waiting to have the ads approved by Facebook. But before they even got reviewed, we got a mail saying your ad account is disabled because you broke rule numbers 27 from Facebook. So at first we felt, really devastated and anxious and even a bit wronged because we couldn't figure out what we've done wrong on our website or landing page, and we couldn't figure out why we get that kind of reaction from Facebook. But to our credit, I must say that we bounced back fairly quickly, and we both had a feeling this was going to be a non-issue. So we filled out a form to have our account reviewed, and we added a small comment that we looked at rule number 27, but that we couldn't find what was wrong and why we were disabled. And the strange thing was that while our account was disabled, we got an approval for the ads a couple of hours later. We made 2 ad sets with different audiences, and each had 2 ads, and they were all approved. But we couldn't run them because of the disablement of our entire account. So the next morning when we got up, I noticed that I could access our account again. There was a small message with the confirmation that everything was okay and we didn't violate rule number 27, and they apologized. Okay, mission accomplished. It wasn't an issue, just as we thought. We were excited again because now our ads were approved as well, so we turned them on and waited for the results. And the first day, the ads performed well. We got a bunch of link clicks and extra names on our email list. And so the next day we looked at the stats. We played our game of extrapolating the numbers and we were quite pleased. So we took a closer look at our audience to see what segments performed best. And we decided to exclude some age groups because they didn't react to our ad at all. And the next thing we knew, boom, we got disabled again. Probably because we relaunched all the ads, our account got reviewed by the computer again with the same result. Only this time, we were heading up to Easter, meaning we'll have to wait a few days longer before we're in business again. I just cannot believe this happened. The ads were doing so well. So we're just anxiously waiting until they run again. Because knowing that you have different ads out there that are attracting people into our world that need what we can offer them is so thrilling and exciting. You feel that everything is on the move and things are happening all the time, and it's just the best feeling. So now we need to dive into other platforms ASAP to multiply that exciting feeling and welcome more people into our QuantoCAD universe. We do realize the consequences of waiting too long to dive into this part of our business, but we learned our lessons, and these are the conclusions we made. So 4 things we learned when we started advertising on Facebook. First of all, don't wait until everything else is ready. Start investigating and driving traffic way earlier. Second one, when the settings for the campaign, the ad sets or the ads are changed after reviewing the statistics, everything has to be approved again. And if your account got disabled once, chances are it will happen again. Diversify. Advertise on different platforms. Sticking to one platform only makes you way too vulnerable. And when it comes to having our Facebook ads account disabled, we were not the first ones, and we will certainly not be the last ones that had this happen. We know it will be operational again as soon as someone takes a look at it, so no panicking, it will be okay.